What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. Last week, I'm recording this right after, but as of last week, I brought you guys the most intriguing and interesting offensive camp battles for the Steelers. I broke down 4 different positions and talked about the offensive battles that Pittsburgh was going to have in training camp. Now that Pittsburgh's officially in camp. So now I want to break down defense. I want to talk to you guys about 3 particular spots on defense that have the most intriguing battles to look at. Not always necessarily starters or not about guys that are going to be cut, but who are fighting for some of those depth spots. Who are going to be guys that could emerge and could jump over other guys in the depth chart to get a chance to be seen as we get through camp and get into preseason. Let's talk about defense here. If you want to see the offensive one, go back to my last video. I just recorded it a few seconds ago and just uploaded it as you're watching this video last week. So go check out that video as well. I want to talk about defensive line because these D-line 6 and D-line 7 spots are going to be open. Obviously, locks to make the team and be in the rotation, barring injury. You have obviously guys like Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton, Sebastian Joseph Day, Derek Harmon, Y.A. Black. Those 5 guys are locks. They're going to be on the team. They're going to be in the rotation if they're not hurt. But usually Pittsburgh keeps either 6 or 7 defensive linemen. So in those last 2 spots for DL6 and DL7, you have 4 guys fighting for spots. You've got Dean Lowry, who's a veteran who's coming off of an injury, who's been around for a while, played for the Packers, played I think with McCarthy on the Packers, and probably with Aaron Rodgers too. You have Logan Lee, who was a late round pick a few years ago, who's shown some special team stuff, made a few tackles, blocked a few kicks, been effective at certain times. Ezezi Otomewo, who came in last year and was an unsung hero as the 6th D lineman / 4th outside linebacker when there was injuries, made a few tackles last year, and Gabriel Rubio, the big defensive lineman that was inexplicably drafted from Notre Dame in the draft this year, who I wasn't a big fan of the pick, but he's got the big school pedigree and the big body frame that reminds you of a Cam Hayward if he can stay healthy and back up the athleticism. You've got 4 guys, Lowry, Lee, Otomewo, and Rubio, fighting for 1 or 2 spots, D-line 6 and possibly D-line 7. I'm going to guess they're keeping 7 guys. Which of these 2 guys falls into those last 2 spots if there's no injuries? I would say Otomewo, after last year's performance, has a chance to really be on that list. And if I'm guessing, also Logan Lee, because of he can play on the line but also special teams and block kicks and things like that, I think he's got an inside track as well. Next one I want to look at is an interesting one because both these guys are very, 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 very likely going to make the team. They're not fighting for their futures, barring injury here. But it's cornerback 4. It's the 3rd outside spot. You know, you've got Joey Porter Jr. who's holding in right now. He's in kind of an in-team lockout. We'll talk about it later. You've got Jamel Dean on the other side, so your 2 outside guys are locked in. You've got Jalen Ramsey, who's going to play slot corner / safety, but could play outside corner if he has to, but it's not preferable. So then for your backup outside corners, you've got 2 guys. One in Asante Samuel Jr., who they signed last year, came in and got 1 or 2 interceptions toward the end of last year, was around a few turnovers, played pretty well coming off an injury. He's a young guy that suffered a spinal injury, who really derailed his career, but came back last year, looked pretty healthy, and played pretty well in limited action last year. And then there was the long Georgia corner, Dalen Everett, who we drafted in the draft this year. Some say he was a bit of a reach. I like the pick. Played for Georgia, physical guy, has got a ton of speed. I think he was one of the fastest corners in the draft. Also has some length to him too, so he's got all the physical tools. And he's been probably, of all of the rookies and younger guys on the roster, he was the guy that most caught our attention this year in all the rookie minicamp and regular minicamp and all that stuff. He reminded us a lot of Corey Trice, a healthy version of Corey Trice who's gone now, at that cornerback 4 spot. So Everett versus Samuel, kind of who's going to be the next one to step in. It's going to be Samuel early on because he's a veteran and he's been here on the team. But Dalen Everett's been really impressing us in all the minicamp drills. So watching that CB4 spot's going to be interesting, Samuel versus Everett. And then finally, safety 3 here. We got 3 guys kind of battling. We have our starting safeties obviously already on the team. You've got Deshaun Elliott returning from injury. You've got Jaquan Brisker, the signing from the Bears, who I love. Those are your 2 starting safeties, barring injury. Those are the 2 main guys. And then for extra packages, blitzes off the edge, fill in gaps and stuff like that, that's going to be Jalen Ramsey, who's very good in that spot as well. Played there a little bit last year and played better there than he did at corner. But you have those three guys are going to be in your rotation full time. Then you have three other guys who are interesting here playing for this like safety 3/4 spot. They're only going to keep 4 safeties. And I guess you can get away with keeping all these guys if you say, basically, we're considering Ramsey a slot corner, so he stays in our corner group, and then you can keep all 3 of these guys. But really, it's 3 guys fighting for 2 spots at most. And that is Darnell Savage, Sebastian Castro, and Robert Spears-Jennings. Savage was signed, he was in, then he was out. He's been a Jacksonville Jaguar, been around for a handful of other teams, I think played for the Jets as well. A few other teams. Darnell Savage, having a lot of athletic traits, but not a lot of wherewithal on the field. His awareness is low to me, but he's around some turnovers, makes some plays here and there, has some athletic traits, but I think he's kind of been lagging since his rookie years. And the stuff with Jacksonville. I don't think Savage has been that strong, but we signed Savage. And then also you have Sebastian Castro, who was an undrafted rookie from last year, who wound up, I think, played really well in preseason, made the team on one of the last spots, was eventually cut and then brought back and brought into the lineup because of injury. And not only is he a very good special teamer, he's one of our better special teams players in my opinion, but also makes a lot of tackles when he's in there at safety. As a cover guy, he's not the best. He's not super athletic, but he made some good plays in college. He's pretty physical. And again, special team ace, very good at that. And you know, he's going to have to be around for that now as a new backup safety for us. But also can make a lot of tackles at safety in general. I like this player a lot. And he's apparently made some growth so far in this offseason. And then Robert Spears-Jennings, a 7th round pick, who is developmental and also seems to lack a little bit of technique, but he's got a ton of speed and he's a hard hitter. He's fast and he's strong. He hits very hard. In spite of being considered a little bit undersized and a little bit raw as a technique player, the dude he can separate man from ball and he can tackle his butt off. So I think you've got 3 guys here that have a lot of potential. Seeing Savage's ceiling, I know, again, you always want to go with veteran presences for your backups in case guys get hurt. But I like Castro a lot as a player. I think he's underrated overall, especially on defense. And I think Spears-Jennings has the athleticism. I would go with these 2 young guys as your backups. Because if you need a true backup to fill in and get you out of a stadium, I think Castro can do the job. And if he winds up not being able to cover in terms of a straight cover safety, you can always put Jalen Ramsey back there. So that's kind of where I'd go. But Castro versus Savage versus Spears-Jennings is a good depth safety battle to watch out for. So go back and check out my offensive one. Leave your comments down below on this defensive one. What do you think of these 3 battles? Who do you think will and should win? Are there any battles that I missed on defense? Check out both of these videos. Tell me what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe these Pittsburgh Steelers deep dives, and I'll bring you guys any further news when it comes to signings, contracts, injuries, anything else about this camp situation. As stories come out and darlings come out, I'll bring that news to you guys as well. See you soon. Go Steelers.